Welcome back to the Universe of Tech Hub. In this tutorial, we will learn about state and life cycle. First, we need to learn what is state. A state is used to manage the dynamic data in a component. It can be set up using a use state in functional components or this dot state in class component. When state changes, the components re-renders to reflect the new data. For example, in coming into the use state, it initializes the state variable count to 0. Set count is a function to update the count. State is used to manage the dynamic data in a components. It allows the components to remember the information and update the UI when that information changes. State is the built-in object in React that allows the components to manage and track dynamic data. It is mutable, meaning it can change over a time, usually in response to user action or network response. Next, we move on to the why use state. Use state to store the data that can change over a time, like user input, API response, something like this. To trigger re-renders of the component when the state changes, ensuring the UI reflects the current data. Next, we move on to the what is life cycle. The life cycles is refers to the series of methods that are invoked at different stages of components existence in React applications. These stages include a mounting when the component is created, updating when the component state or props change, and unmounting when the components removed from the DOM. Uh, Next, we move on to the life cycles methods in class components. Coming into the life cycle methods in class components, common life cycle methods includes a component did mount, invoked immediately after a component is mounted, good for fetching data and setting up subscriptions like that. And next one is component did update, invoked it immediately after updating occurs, good for responding to props or state changes. Next one is component will unmount, invoked immediately before a component's unmounted, good for cleanup, removing a event listeners. This is all about lifecycle methods in class components. I'm taking one example to show how it works. Coming into the life cycles, it refers to the stage a components goes through the mounting, updating, and unmounting. In class components lifecycle methods like component did mount, component did update, and component will unmount allow you to run the code at specific points in the component's life. In function components, the use effect serves a similar purpose, allowing you to handle side effects and cleanup. This is what is life cycles. Life cycle and states are crucial for building interactive and dynamic application in React. State allows the components to remember informations and response to the user actions, while life cycle methods or hooks enable you to managing the side effects and perform action at specific times during a component's existence. This is all about life cycle and states. Next, we move on to taking one example to show how it works. Functional component with state. I'm taking one example for functional component with state. This is the example. First, need to import React. Import React. Import React. Use effect. Use state. Use state from React. Next, functional component named counter. I'm taking one function. Function name as counter. The function counter. Counter use state hook to create a state variables count. Count is initialized to 0 with const count set count equals to use state initialized to 0. end with semicolon. Next, we render the components. Return, return, I'm taking division tag, P paragraph tag, click it, you clicked count times close paragraph tag. It displays the current count and I am taking a button. The button click, the button click, button on click equals to set count, count plus 1, click me in with button tag and division tag with semicolon. See this. You click 0 times, right? So it updates. You clicked 1 times, you click 2 times, you click 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. This is what functional component with state. That button increments the counts. Click 8, 9, 10, 11, something like this. Instead of P, I'm taking this one. Like you click like 12, 13, 14, 15, something like this. This is all about functional component with state. Next, initialize the state variable count to 0. Set the count as a function to update the count. The button, when clicked it calls the set count to increase the count by 1. Triggers a re-render to show the updated count. This is the example for functional component with state. Next, I'm taking another example to show. A class component with state and lifecycle methods. Import React from React. Import React from import React from React. Class component named counter. Class counter extends React React component. Open semicolon. Flower braces. Constructor props. It initializes the state with count set to 0. Close the flower braces. Then increment function using arrow function. This dot set state. This dot set state count. This dot state dot count plus 1. It increments in with semicolon. It updates the state to increment count in with semicolon. Next, calling render function. Render return return division tag, then p tag. Inside p tag, you click count times in with p. It displays the current count. Next, adding one button on click this dot increment, close the click me, close the button to increment count. Next, we close the division tag, export default. It's showing like this. Okay, it was increasing using a state and life cycles class components with state and life cycle methods. Here in this we using a state and life cycle methods. The constructor initializes the component state with count set to 0. Here in this, like count set to 0. Next, increments the method. Dates the state when the button is clicked, increasing count by 1. And next one is render method. It returns the JSX to display the current count on the button. This is all about state and life cycle methods. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share and comment in this video. Thank you for watching.